People don't watch shows and movies about the financial crisis because they like to understand finance. They watch it because they want to see things break. So in today's video, I want to talk about why do people enjoy seeing financial crisis related movies, stuff like The Big Short, Too Big to Fail, Margin Call, shows like this and movies like these. My first claim is that watching movies like this make people feel intelligent without taking any risks. So let me explain what I mean by this. Most people watching these movies do not understand what's going on from a financial mechanism perspective. However, they kind of feel like they do. They can understand some high level concepts and how that resulted in the result, which is the financial crisis occurring. Subsequently, they feel like they have a disproportionate amount of knowledge on the subject matter than they actually do. And that leads them to have this psychology of, well, I wouldn't have done that if that was me. The thing is, hindsight is 20/20, hindsight is completely free. But that essence, that feeling of I would have seen this coming, that's something special, and that's something that writers try to get out of the audience. It's a great gift. Making the viewer feel superior, making the viewer feel like they wouldn't have done the thing what resulted in this big bad issue, gives them so much more engagement. It's why, in a weird sense, movies like The Big Short can end up making people feel empowered and inspired, not more educated or more scared of what actually happened and how easy it was to happen. They turned the chaos of reality into an ego beast for the viewer. My next claim is that financial failure is the only type of failure that people are allowed to enjoy, so they get the most out of it. I'm not saying that everybody's a masochist, but it's a bit more sadistic to say that you enjoy medical malpractice videos, or watching somebody have a terminal illness or grieve a big death or a mass murder. Not that that doesn't happen, there's a huge wave of serial killer documentaries coming out which are super entertaining. But it's almost more morally acceptable to watch financial failures happen, especially when the people who are losing their money in the shows or the movies tend to be wealthy, rich individuals. The reality is the people who were worse affected from the financial crisis were not those level of people. It was the everyday Joe. It was the amount of pension funds that went bust. Teachers' pensions, policemen, firemen, these are the type of people who were affected, not the big hedge fund billionaires. The point is, it's really easy for filmmakers to frame these individuals as greedy, as arrogant, as self-obsessed. And that way it makes the viewer feel justified and enjoying and relishing in their failure. It can be entertainment, and it's a lot more difficult to find somebody's terminal illness entertaining. It is entertaining just in a different way, right? It can be engaging, watching the story of somebody overcome cancer, say, or unfortunately pass away to it. But watching something just go completely wrong and you're allowed to enjoy it go wrong from a viewing perspective, it's a rare thing, and that's what these finance movies really understand how to do. They get that you're allowed to enjoy it, and they get that viewers like to see things go wrong. There are also people who are easy to root against, right? I mean, not many people are rooting for the hedge funds when everything's going wrong. And even in movies like The Big Short, where you have Michael Burry in almost like a protagonist role, same with Steve Carell's character, you want them to be right. Also, people already knew what happened because it's, a documentary kind of thing. But, you want them to be right. You want to be proven right that the system is all corrupt and it all failed, despite the fact that it actually affected real people, a lot of people. But for the sake of the media and for the sake of engagement and making it so entertaining, you want them to be right. So that's why I'm trying to say that financial failure is the only type of failure we're allowed to enjoy, because that's what makes these movies so entertaining. It's like you're morally justified in enjoying watching chaos, and it's very difficult to find that in other genres. I think my third claim is around the idea of that these stories give us the reassurance that sometimes justice is served. Not in the traditional sense of you see a serial killer brought to justice, but of the idea that sometimes these institutions, the mechanism of capitalism or economics, it does work, right? There has to be a winner and a loser, and sometimes those losers are bad people who are trying to do bad things, propping up the housing market on fraudulent numbers, giving anybody a loan, and then those people are the people who suffer the losses. But the thing is, they suffer the losses of money, of maybe some lifestyle changes, but they weren't the people who actually suffered the real losses, who lost their homes, their jobs, their futures, their pensions. But that doesn't matter to the average viewer. What matters to the average viewer is they want to feel like the world is fair, like the game is on an even playing field. They don't really care about the fact that they all got bailed out at the end, even though it's in all these movies, because the reason there are so many between The Big Short and Margin Call and Arbitrage and Too Big to Fail, people want to believe that the world is fair. People want to feel like there's a chance that the wrong people, like the people who do the bad things, but they do lose. And it's why I'm trying to say, like, in a more broad point, but it is interesting that people watch these movies and come out with the feeling of inspiration. Because you really should come out of the movie feeling scared, worried, anxious about how a few group of people, who aren't even sometimes the most senior people in these companies, have so much influence over the entire global economy and over so many people's lives. Yet despite all of this, people aren't worried. They come out feeling inspired because, one, maybe they feel like they could predict the next big thing going wrong so they can profit off it. Or two, they feel inspired in that they know that, oh, I would have seen it coming even though they probably wouldn't, and they would have acted differently, and that gives them a bit of an ego boost and a motivation boost. It's just an interesting psychology, right? It's like the only type of category of failure where you watch the failure happen and you can sometimes feel good after it. Like, you don't watch a movie about somebody going through cancer and at the end feel good about it. Like, even if they survive and it all is okay at the end, you will probably feel emotionally drained. You'd feel relief, but you wouldn't feel good. It's a unique psychology that financial failures provide the viewer. And I think that's what makes these movies super interesting and so compelling. So in conclusion, we don't watch financial failure movies to feel like we understand finance. We watch them to feel reassured that maybe we wouldn't have done the same things, and that we're not as reckless as these people. Anyways, if you found any of the concepts in this video interesting, I love to debate these more abstract ideas from random movies and films. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and on to the next one.